Hello and welcome to Sports Tavern Talk. This is it, the final team right ahead before the NFL draft starts at 8 p.m. tonight. And our final team, the Detroit Lions, will be covered in this video. So let's go ahead and see what the Lions are going ahead with them, especially considering with the fact that they finished last in the division with a winning record at 9-8. Truly an unprecedented year with both Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn leaving the team. However, I do expect the Lions to bounce back next season and compete with the new revived Bears for that division title. But let's go ahead and see what the Lions did in free agency to address any of their concerns that may have appeared during the offseason. Looking at the Lions, they also did not make a lot of free agent signings, but they were very carefully selecting who they wanted. They brought in running back Isaiah Pacheco on a one-year contract to play alongside Jahmyr Gibbs since David Montgomery was traded away. And because of that, along with them, they got Drew Struggs from the Texans, along with a 4th-round pick this year and a next year's 7th rounder from the Houston Texans. They also signed linebacker Damon Clark and re-signed Malcolm Rodriguez to the team. They brought in some secondary help between Avonte Maddox and Roger McCreary and Rock Ya-Sin. The Lions are definitely looking for a bounce-back year, especially on defense that showcases injuries, including to their main star, Aiden Hutchinson. For me as a football fan, it was very tough for the Lions to make that kind of decision in letting go of David Montgomery and sending him to the Houston Texans. In return, they did get the offensive line in Drew Struggs and some draft capital between this year and next year's draft. However, they do need to address more of the positions and bringing in some help on both offense and defense, whether it may be. But the defense definitely needs to rebound after a hard year last year, hoping that they can go back to their winning ways and compete for the division title. But for now, let's go ahead and see the mock draft that I have set up for the Detroit Lions and what they might possibly do going ahead for the draft. With 8 draft picks in the mock draft for the Lions, their first selection in round 1 would be Kadyn Proctor, the Alabama offensive tackle. They had 2 messy departures between Dan Skipper and Taylor Decker, who both left the team, and they need to find a starting position to play alongside Penei Sewell. In the second round, they will draft more cornerback help in getting Keith Abney II from Arizona State, and get more help on the offensive line in Trey June II from Texas A&M. In the later rounds then, they would draft more defensive line help in Zane Durant and bring another wide receiver in Kevin Coleman Jr. And as for the final 3 picks, they draft another edge rusher in Miguel Camara from Indiana, a safety in Robert Spears Jennings, and another linebacker in Justin Jefferson from Alabama. The Lions are looking forward to retool the defense and bring some more youth and new faces to the team, while also trying to keep the offense together. In my opinion, this is the right method for the Lions, not in terms of players, but the positions needed. They need to figure out how to fix the offensive line to help find the protection for Jared Goff, and the hope that running back Isaiah Pacheco can be the next running back to hopefully fill in the shoes for David Montgomery. And they would bring in another wide receiver to help bring in more weapons to an already stout offense that already has Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jameson Williams, and much more. And as for the defense, that secondary could use some improved help, and getting another edge rusher to play alongside Aiden Hutchinson would be pretty big. But for now, let's talk about the first 2 selections for the Detroit Lions, starting off with the Alabama offensive tackle. Proctor being a 6'6", 352-pound tackle, he is a mountain of a man with elite level power, physicality, and pedigree that makes him one of the most discussed prospects in the 2026 draft class. He is absurdly powerful, and his skills show that he's an excellent run blocker that can crush double teams, climb to the second level effectively, and can press defenders with his length. He also makes it very difficult for rushers to get around because of that large mass he shows. This will be a great selection for the Lions, and Dan Campbell would love a player like this they can use for smash mouth football to keep the running game going with Jahmyr Gibbs and Isaiah Pacheco. Not to mention, this kind of player would definitely give Jared Goff the time and protection needed to open plays and open scramble around the pocket to find his receivers downfield. And for Keith Abney II, as a 5'10", 187-pound prospect, he is a technically refined corner with mirror and match footwork that allows him to smother receivers in coverage. He can recover from disadvantageous positions with sudden twitch movements to stay with the receiver, has excellent skills in zone coverage with awareness, vision, and processing skills at a high level, and can bait quarterbacks before undercutting their passes. He also displays great body control with sound footwork, smooth hip movements, and focused eyes. This will be a great selection for the Lions to help in their secondary, as it stands to consider the secondary did regress a little bit and from the play of their defensive coordinator. But there's a lot of hope because their pass rush was definitely lethal last year, so it only helps the fact that the Lions can hope their secondary follows suit along with them heading into next season. The moment we've all been waiting for is right around the corner, where the first overall pick will be called by the Las Vegas Raiders, and then from then on, 3 days of a total of 257 draft picks will have their names called by the NFL to take their first steps into the pro leagues. The Lions, like all the other teams, are ready to make that phone call and have these players make their dreams come true. The Lions are definitely going to have a good draft this year and definitely rebound back to compete with the Bears for the division. If it's not the Bears that takes first, it'll definitely be the Lions that will have that first spot, and they'll go back to their winning ways with at least a 12-win season next year and be back to one of the top teams in the NFC. Once again, thank you all for watching Sports Tavern Talk, and thank you for watching all the views on my mock drafts for the teams. For my final mock drafts, head over to my Instagram page and let me know your thoughts on what you think has changed and if it's for the good or for the better. We'll never know until that moment comes to see, but let's hope everyone has a good draft. Make sure to, and please, leave a like and a comment on the video with your thoughts. I really appreciate your honest opinions. And make sure to follow me on YouTube, Instagram, and on X. I will have a first reaction after the round 1 to see what it will look like for all the teams. So keep your eye posted for that. And as always, I will see you next time.